6 tips to make your dog more food motivated.
Something I hear very often is that owners tell me their dogs are not food motivated and cannot be trained with food. This usually poses quite some issues for training. It is very hard, or I would say probably near impossible, to train your dog a broad variety of behaviors with absolutely no food rewards. You can always use environmental rewards, you can use rewards such as playing, but using some food rewards and having your dog accept some food rewards will be very beneficial to your training.
The good news is, every dog has to eat.
The good news is that eventually your dog will have to eat. There's other rewards that your dog might never really accept as a reward. Tugging, for example, some dogs, especially when started later in life, just will never get a real joy in tugging. Food, however, is something that your dog enjoys in some capacity every single day, just to stay alive. So accepting food rewards is not so much about getting the dog to a place where he will eat, because he already eats every day. It's more about getting the dog to a place where he values the food that comes from you enough to actually reinforce and strengthen behaviors that we're trying to teach him.
Dogs like meat. They do not necessarily like flour, fruit, or fillers.
The first issue that I see is that we tend to buy dog treats in pet stores, of course. What dogs like to eat is meat and dairy products. This is what tastes good to them. The treats that we buy in pet stores are made to be shelf stable, so they often contain a variety of other ingredients that are not meat or dairy products. You can these days even buy completely vegan dog treats that only contain things such as banana, peanut butter, flour, and so on. Now, if your dog enjoys eating these treats, by all means keep on feeding them to him. If, however, he does not seem very thrilled about the treats that you buy at the pet store, you can try to use some with a higher meat content. That meat content can be as high as 100%. Yeah? You can use hot dogs, you can use ham, string cheese, chicken, roast beef, you can try some liver for your dog. Get creative and check out some actual all-meat options. He might just like them a lot better than the store-bought treats. Another issue with those store-bought treats are that due to the way that they are made, they're often pretty large and very crunchy. For dogs that are not a big fan of chewing, like for example my little Chinese crested over there, this can already deter them from taking the treat. So the softer the treat, the more your dog might just like it.
Dogs like hunting, so make food something that he can chase.
Dogs are predators, and as such they enjoy running after things that move fast, chasing things, having a bit of a hunt. If I can make my food delivery seem like a hunt to my dog and an activity in which he has to actively take a part in earning the food, he might enjoy it much more than if I simply hand a piece of food to him. A really easy way to awaken the hunter inside your dog is by just using food and tossing it across the ground. For nearly all dogs, this will be a higher reinforcement than if you just hand a piece of food to them. They enjoy the dynamic, they enjoy the little built-in chase. Or you can use the food toss to get a little bit of a head start and have them chase you with the food. Jump. Kixie! Good girl. Nice job. Good girl. Kixie. Good girl.
Dogs like fun tricks. Use the food as a reward for your dog's happiest tricks.
When trying to to make your dog like food rewards better, you do not want to use behaviors that are inherently boring or not interesting for your dog. So I'm not going to make him do a 5-minute downstay and feed him food rewards and maybe even scold him when he breaks it. Yeah? Instead, when trying to convince my dog to like my food better, I want to use very fun, very dynamic tricks that will automatically heighten the dog's enthusiasm and engagement in the training. Tricks that are fun and dynamic for dogs, for example, are spinning left and right. Right? There you go. Good job. And left. Nice. Good job. And right. Good job. And left. There you go. Good job. Or jumping over things. Good job. Very nice. Good job, baby. Nice. Good job. Way to go, puppy. Good. There you go. Good. Nice job. Great. Very nice. Good job, parties. Good job. Very good. Very good.
Some dogs like toys. Use the toy as a reward and motivation for taking the food.
If your dog enjoys playing with toys, you can use that toy drive and transition a little bit of it towards the food drive by first showing your dog a toy, showing him the food, having him eat the food, and then playing with the toy. I use that a lot with my little Chinese Crested. He has never been very much into eating kibble. Even at home in a very non-distracting environment, he is not a huge fan of eating kibble and he chews it very slowly, which really interrupts the flow of training. But if I show him a tennis ball, which he really likes, and then give him a piece of kibble, he will swallow it right away, and I throw him the tennis ball as a reward for eating the kibble and also as a way to encourage him to keep on eating it quickly. So I have some kibble here and the tennis ball. Make sure that he sees I have the ball. Offer him a piece of kibble. Great! And then he gets to chase his ball. Again, show him the kibble and the tennis ball. Give him the kibble and then he gets to chase his ball. Good job, party boy. Such a good puppy.
Dogs like slow transitions. Gradually introduce treat rewards in more and more distracting situations.
When starting out trying to convince your dog to take your food rewards, you do not want to start out in a highly distracting situation where there are many other things that your dog might like much better than eating your food. So I'm not going to see if my dog likes a piece of chicken at home and he eats it and I think, okay, great, now I'm going to take him to the dog park and try there. Instead, you want to very gradually advance the situation in which your dog takes the piece of food. If, for example, your dog is good at taking a piece of food in the living room, you might next go and see if he will take the same piece of food in your hallway. So, maybe I want to start out by trying my dog to just eat a piece of food in front of my front door, with the front door closed. Good job. Nice job. Good. Good. And then with my front door open. And just outside my front door. And even a little further. Good job, babies.
And then you gradually increase the difficulty. to the sidewalk, to being out in front of a post office, to being at a park, at an outdoor mall, and so on. Dogs like certain times of the day better than others. Only use your dog's happy hour for training with food.
If you're trying to get your dog used to liking food better, make sure that you only use the best time of the day for training with food with him. Do not use the time of the day where he's sleepy, where he has more of a downtime. This is not a good time to teach him to be excited. Instead, channel the natural excitement of the times during the day when he just happens to be extra alert, extra enthusiastic. Maybe he's having some zoomies, maybe he's trying to engage one of your other dogs in play. Use these times of the day to teach him how much fun eating and playing with food with you can be.
If you enjoyed these ideas, check out our online classes for many more ideas and games.